Hey, this is Stacia, and we're going to look at this last training game that I played on chess.com. This was a French defense, the open terrace variation, or as I like to say, the trash variation. All right, so we need to move up the rocket though because we are making great progress towards planet 1900. We're somewhere, we're going to get into orbit here because I do want to land on this planet and then, of course, get to planet 2000. It's going to be hard to get through the rings, but I think we can do it. So anyway, to the game. In this game, we went e4, e6, d4, and d5. So this is definitely a French defense. And now knight d2. Now I'll tell you that I do like to troll people, and in Blitz, I've been playing nothing but c4 here. I just love it. I might actually start playing this line in real, like, rapid games at least. Maybe not classical, but rapid games, because I do just like the principle of, they really want to play d5, and I'm just, like, overprotecting it. And I don't know. I find this entertaining to like play this check. You can even just play queen b3. You don't have to play the check at all. This is the Ortho Schnapp Gambit. And but I like throwing in the check because there's this crazy thank you Vampire Chicken. He showed me this crazy trap, and we're like trying to entice them to attack our queen. And if they're any good at chess at all, they'll actually stop and be like, wait a minute, I can take a free pawn, because if I take that free pawn and they take on b7, I then have this move, and and we're fine, right? Protect the rook. So the thing is, after they take the pawn, we go here, attacking f7, inducing this move queen e7, and now that changes that whole variation, because now we take here, and then we play check, and they can block. But now we have bishop f7. Can't take that because you lose your queen. So then they play here, and then we play checkmate. All right. I don't like it just because of the trap, but that trap's always sort of in the air, I feel. And then I just get like a more open position, which I think is more my style. But when I'm not joking, I actually do play the right way and play d4, and this move knight to d2, which is the terrace variation. And the whole idea is to orchestrate our knights like this to really protect d4. We're going to go c3, and it's positional chess, right? Like, really, I should play the Pillsbury Gambit. I don't know. There's some kind of gambit against the French. I would like that better, but for my own development, I feel like having a line like this every now and then is probably good for me. So I'm keeping it. All right, so c5 was played. They could play the closed way with knight f6, and I would attack that knight, and then we play something like this. This is also possible. That's the closed trash variation, but we got the open trash variation. So open up the trash can and smell the roses, or smell the 3-day-old spaghetti, whichever one sounds better to you. Knight to f3, bishop g4. Okay, so I can see that the computer doesn't like this. I'm going to turn off the feedback. It's just too distracting. I didn't feel like this move was strong, but I wasn't about to call it a mistake. I mean, it does create a pin. And I played h3 because actually, now that I'm looking at this, I can see why this is not a strong move. Like, if you're going to do this pin, you usually want to have a way. You either want to take the knight for some reason, which they do not want to do that here, right? That would just help my other knight come to f3. That's not what you want to do. Or you want to, like, put pressure on the pin, and that's not happening either. So this is just not that great of a move. In fact, I could play h3 right away, which I wanted the bishop off this diagonal. And then I threw in this check because now there's no bishop back. So they play knight c6, and I castled. And yeah, and in this open terrace line that I play usually, we're trying to sort of just get quick development and get our rook to e1 as soon as possible. And it sort of overworks this bishop. This bishop needs to recapture on c5, but the bishop also may need to guard on e7. If you're like, well, the knight can guard, yeah, but it might block the bishop. Like, so I'm just trying to make their development a little awkward. So they go knight f3, and now check. And you can already see it's annoying, right? Bishop e7, I can take the pawn, which I promptly did. But they do get to castle, so it's not that great. But they did have to waste a tempo on bishop e7. Really, they would rather play bishop takes c5 in one move. So I won like a tempo there, I guess you could say. And then I go knight b3. Now, I think knight b3 is the best move. I want to see what the computer says. It agrees. Okay, I'm happy to see that. Wow, it gives g4 as a move. I wasn't really considering that one. I'll be honest with you. And then knight b3. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to weaken my king for no reason. So castles, knight b3. a6 was played by my opponent. Yeah, and earlier I wasn't too excited about putting the bishop on b5 because of the Noah's Ark trap. So like if we go back here, I actually thought a6 might be a real move because I can't play like this because then I'm pretty sure I just lose the game to that. That's the Noah's Ark trap. But I can always take the knight, so it should be fine. And if we zoom ahead to the new position, oops. Yeah, this is actually different now. I'm not going to get Noah's Ark or whatever because we have a pawn on c5. The pawn exists, so we can do this kind of stuff. But I wasn't sure I wanted to invite this situation where my bishop really can't move and it's just weird. So I did decide to just break the pin just by intuition. So let's see if my intuition was right. Okay, Magic Stockfish, what is your best move? Bishop e2. All right. So yeah, so I'm starting to learn to trust my intuition, which I think is a good thing. My coaches will get scared and be like, oh no, she's not going to calculate anymore. She's going to try to win on the clock. No. I'm going to try to not lose on the clock though. And have some sort of confidence. I absolutely believe in calculation and find the best moves, but I also believe that when you're playing rapid chess, G30s, gotta pick when you spend your time. That is something that I truly believe in at this point. Because, I'm sorry, but results do matter. I used to care only about chess improvement. Guess what? I have to care about results too. Because if I spend years not practicing getting results, then I'm not going to be able to get results ever, right? Like it should be part of my training is to get results. And that's going to include the clock. So I'm sorry to my coaches who don't subscribe to that, but it's just the truth. Bishop e3, rook e8, knight fd4, the freeing maneuver. I thought this is probably best. Let's see what the computer says. It likes it. It says knight fd2, it likes better. Challenging the knight, I guess. But they're both pretty good for white. It just says white's up a pawn, which is what I felt. Yeah, so not the normal way I play chess, right? Like, I'm usually trying to give away a pawn, not grab the pawn and hold on to it, unless it's a Queen's Gambit accepted. That's different. But I did understand here that I don't need to play aggressive. I just need to hold on to my pawn, maybe give it back if my position gets good. But otherwise, play annoying and hold on to it. So I'm trolling black a little bit, holding on to my pawn. And yeah, here I chose the move c3. Because why not? It just looks super solid. It blunts the bishop. And anytime I move this knight, they're threatening that. So why allow that? C3. Bishop E7 now. Going back. So this middle game's kind of funny. We're just toying with each other a little bit. So I go knight E2 here. Again. Not sure it's the best move, actually. But I actually did want to either play... I wanted to put something on F4, the knight or the bishop. So they go rook D8. Makes sense. And now knight to F4. So let's see if I played this part right. Computer says knight F4. Wow. All right. So I'm playing decent as far as I can tell. Knight F4, knight F6, queen F3. Okay. Okay, this is definitely not the best move this time, but it's okay. So obviously I want to get my rook in the game. So this is a little bit of lazy chess by me. But I did only spend a few seconds on it, so I think it's okay. Now, what would be a better move, though? I'm trying to imagine what it could be. I mean, I don't like this knight on b3, but he is doing an important job holding onto our pawn there. Maybe this is better. Maybe it's the time for this move. If takes, oops. If they take the pawn, we take here. If they take that way, we take that way. I'm not sure. All right, let's see what the engine says. It says knight to d3. Now, I do see that protects the pawn even more. So maybe we're preparing that move. Interesting. I didn't really think about that one. It also likes rook c1 or rook b1. I don't understand those at all. I did not even consider those. So, okay, engine back off. Let's get back to it. Queen f3. It doesn't like it because of knight e5, yeah, which I kind of missed. So this was a pretty silly oversight, but it works out okay because I have queen g3, and I did notice the alignment here, which comes in handy. Because after knight c4, now we've got some major alignment going on. It ends up winning the game. It doesn't look like it yet, but it will. Because now I do play my knight d4 move. Yeah, and I calculated this. So it turns out the engine doesn't love it, but I actually calculated that they can't take here. I thought they can't take here because of knight f5 threatening checkmate. And then I thought the only way they can defend is with g6. The other is this, but I've got that protected. So after g6 and knight h6 check, I did see that this king will have to go to our dark square one way or another. And then our knight moves out of the way, and it's a discovery on the queen. So I actually did see some tactics for once in my life. So in the game, this move. Now, why is my move not best, though? Probably because they can do other stuff here. So what could they do to avoid all this? It's a good question. You know what? For one, there's knight e4. I bet you that's why. Also queen d7. But computer does list knight e4, and it lists queen d7. So, you know, you have to see the danger to make these kind of moves. This one, you don't have to see the danger. Like, beginner sees knight attack queen, play move. That's what us beginners do, I guess. But okay. What would I do here? Wow, I even have knight takes d5, actually. Which looks super interesting. So if they take our queen, we take their queen, we're on their rook. So what do they do? If they move the rook, I take their knight. That's interesting. But otherwise, we want a pawn. I guess they have to... Wow, they can't even take the knight because it's still a discovery. So they would have to do something like, I don't know what. Yeah, they can't take that. White's winning now. Which is what I thought too, because we're on that. That knight can't do anything. He ran out of things to take. So actually, they have to do something else. I'll just ask the computer. Oh, trade queens, of course. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, just trade queens, and we're going to have to take back, I think. Actually, we have a check, but we could take here. Appears that's right. And then after that, now take the queen. They could do this. Ooh, look at that. That's mean. But is it that mean? They could do this and move that rook somewhere or play f6. But we're up a pawn in this position still, so I like it. Okay, anyway, I feel like I'm getting off track. Sorry about that. So after knight e5, queen g3, knight c4, knight d4. Here, I really thought they should go knight e4, and I didn't see this knight takes d5 miracle shot we have there, but they played knight takes e3, and now I was feeling quite confident because I take, ooh, yeah, and then they take the pawn. So I thought they should not take that pawn because of knight to f5. So knight f5, my students all know, and Ben Feingold knows, that it's not knight f5, it's knife f5. And then I say to my students, it's like holding a knife to the Black King's throat. Very true here. Because after g6, which is the only move, like how else do you stop checkmate? I guess there's bishop f8. I didn't think about that one, but I still don't think that's too sharp. We get check still, we get this, and then knight g6 still works. So, yeah, so and this is a fun part of the game because I had enough time on my clock to choose the right discovery, and I decided that these two both look very interesting, and I decided that this is the better one because it disconnects things over here, and sure enough, I played it, and my opponent immediately blundered. Oh my gosh, I missed mate in one here. If you want to find mate in one, go for it. Instead, I played this move, and then missed mate in one again. Wow. Just queen g5, mate in one. Yeah, the knight's guarding that. Okay, more puzzle rush for me. Ugh. Can't believe I missed mate in one, but it happens, I guess. But I was so focused on winning the queen that I just did that. I mean, it still wins. But this is, after check, this is definitely harder than mate in one. You know what they say, if you have mate in one, look for better. So I did my job. So bishop f4, attacking my knight, and threatening like this weird repetition thing, which actually doesn't work. I thought there might be a repetition here. So I was scared to take the rook, but in the end, I just take the rook. Because what else am I going to do? My knight's also hanging. Now it's not hanging. And I thought they resigned here, but if they tried this, I was worried about some variations here. Like, I thought if they play here, this is double check. So what do? If I go here, actually, that's probably just fine. That's just fine, isn't it? If they do this, I can come out. I'm getting out. Okay, I just missed that I can get out somehow. Intuitively, I knew I could get out, but I wasn't calculating it right, but I was also frantically trying to do so. So yeah, this doesn't do anything. Yeah, just king g1. If this, I can just take. So that's nothing. I was seeing some kind of weird repetition with like this. Oops. Like check here and maybe this move, I thought. Because now the knight walls in that king. So I thought this is my only move. They come back. I go back, only move. So you can see why I thought there might be a draw here. But once again, I think after here, I can go king g1. This is the way to go. Because even though they can check me, so what? You know, now I'm out. I'm out. So yeah, I think not a bad game by me. I will now run the computer review. It says I had 3 misses and 1 mistake and 2 inaccuracies. I played 79.9% accurate, and my rating, my performance rating it gives is 1950. Which is what I would think it is, because I beat a 1900. He was 1900 before this game. So, okay. Let's just quickly run through and do the retries. Okay, it doesn't like h3. What's better than h3? Probably checking. Yep, it is. With that same idea of castle and rook e1 check. Okay, knight c6. I think I got that idea from a John Shaw book. Shout out to Jim Anteline, who gifted me that book. That was really nice of him. Or maybe I'm borrowing it. I'm not sure, but I still have it. It's been years, so thank you. All right. Castles is a great move. Okay, it looked obvious. Bishop e7 is a mistake for black, I guess. Queen f3. Now we did look at this one. Instead of queen f3, I could play what? Knight d3? Forget. Yeah, knight d3, which I don't really understand. Maybe we are, maybe we're being defensive, but also stopping this knight from coming to e5. And because queen f3 just like invited the knight into e5. Yeah. So I think that's part of the reason. Queen g3 is inaccurate, but whatever. Keep going. Oh, and then I just missed mate in ones. I think that's all there is. So I found the hard moves, and then I just missed a mate in one. Just amazing, right? I hate chess sometimes. I was feeling pretty good about this game and my chess, and now I see that I missed mate in one twice. Because now I have it again. Just crazy. Just crazy. So I think I've seen enough of this game. And I think you guys have seen enough too. So thanks for watching. I'll be back with more chess. Okay, bye.